How's it going, guys? What's up? Moses here. Today, bringing you a new build I made with a Ranger class. The Ascendancy is Raider. Just basically started playing it about 3 days ago. Something I wanted to do for a while now. Lightning Strike is, in fact, pretty awesome, and I had a feeling I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with the gem links, the setup. We're going to have Lightning Strike, Elemental Focus, Ruthless, Multi-Strike, Elemental Damage attacks, and Physical to Lightning. Lightning Strike itself will have 50% of the damage converted to Lightning, and then we need that Physical to Lightning in order to get that extra 50% to convert 100% of our physical damage to elemental damage. Our second setup will be a cast with damage taken with increased duration, Immortal Call, and Summon Ice Golem. Alternatively, you can drop increased duration and drop in Val Haste instead, which will be nice, or remove Ice Golem for Val Haste so that you can enjoy the increased duration with the Val Haste as well as Immortal Call. But then you have to kind of like give up on Ice Golem. So it's up to you. I find both ways to work just fine. Over here we got Herald of Thunder with Assassin's Mark and Curse on hit for the extra lightning damage and for the extra passive way to apply curses, so that monsters will take more damage from crits, and that we will be able to generate power charges from killing monsters. In the helm I got faster attacks, whirling blades, fortify, and blood magic. Pretty standard stuff. And over here, this doesn't have to be link. Separately, hatred, blood rage, and ancestral protector. Ancestral protector gives us a bonus of 20% more attack speed while totem is active, which is pretty crazy. You can see, for example, my tooltip doesn't mean too much, but yeah, 133, and then we drop the totem and it jumps to 161. That's without flasks, without charges, without anything. So it's kind of a huge DPS upgrade. We need to be kind of like close to it. If we move too far away, or of course if it expires or dies, we lose the buff. So yeah, on static situations, very nice to just put it out there against bosses, essence monsters, breaches, harbingers, whatever. You just drop it down. Normally when you're clearing maps, you're not going to be using this to clear trash mobs. They'll just die instantly, regardless of it being there or not. Hatred, standard stuff, to get extra physical damage as cold, and blood rage will help to generate frenzy charges, but we're basically using it for the attack speed. And yeah, basically that's it. We're not dealing any physical attack damage, so we don't enjoy the leech, but we do lose maximum of our 4% of our max life per second as physical damage. So yeah, frenzy charges we're going to be getting pretty easily once we completed the Ascendancy. We finished talking about the gems, the setup. Now the Ascendancy, I chose Raider because it's pretty awesome. Many frenzy charges and bonuses to frenzy charges per frenzy charge. Attack damage, attack speed, movement speed, and plus the max frenzy charge, increased duration of frenzy charges, and evasion. On the baby nodes, that's what you'll be grabbing first. We have the Poacher, Avatar of the Slaughter, and then you're gonna go for Rapid Assault and Avatar of the Chase. You could also go to Avatar of the Veil, but if you do, that will make you use another Flask. And I felt that the damage bonuses that you're getting from Avatar of the Chase is going to be overall better, as well as the fact that I don't need to get a silver flask. Well, yeah, Silver Flask for Onslaught, Diamond for Crit. So yeah, you're getting Onslaught for 3 seconds on kill, so and increased effect of Onslaught. You won't be having that against single targets against bosses, uh, which is kind of a shame. But for the rest of the time, you will have the Onslaught, so you can give up an entire Flask slot, so you can use some other things instead. So that's what I went with. You can alternatively, of course, go with Avatar of the Veil for that extra elemental damage, and a little bit of dodge over here as well. So yeah, you get another Flask, so let's talk about Flask setup. Over here we got a seating of Staunching, which is the only thing that you'll be needing to mitigate. Otherwise you'll be basically um, mitigating via comms routes. So you won't be needing any, um, curse immunity and all that kind of stuff. You won't be able to be frozen or chilled, all that slowed and all that stuff. So you don't need any other Flask than Staunching suffix to remove bleed. We got here Vessel of Inktar, provides us with resist as well as maximum resists, as well as lightning damage to attacks. Make sure if you buy this one that you go for the added lightning damage to attacks, because there's 4 different types of this particular Flask. Each of them does something else, and this one will add the lightning damage to attacks that we need for the build. It's also, unfortunately, the most expensive one out of them all. Here we got a perpetual diamond flask of grounding. Reason I went for grounding is because, first of all, the prefix doesn't really matter, I think. You can get, I don't know, I guess experimenters or something like that to increase duration, but you'll basically have it all the time. But yeah, diamond flask to increase our crits, and grounding so that we'll remove the negative effect of this flask. So this flask reads, you're shocked during flask effects causing 50% increased damage taken. Would like to remove that effect by using grounding on our number 3, or whatever number is comfortable for you. As well, we got here Test of Hate. These run between gain 15 to 20% of physical damage as extra cold damage. So you can buy a cheap one, use a couple of divine orbs, and get that 20%. The Wise Oak reduces elemental damage taken of our lowest elemental resist, and then penetrates 15% of elemental damage of our highest elemental resist. This is why you need to make sure that since we're doing 100% lightning damage, that our lightning resist is going to be the highest one. Alright, when it comes to the rest of the gear, you basically want to go for a highest physical damage sword that you can get. Alternatives could be Skeva, for example, or Haon's Fury. Both of these swords are okay, but you'd want to strive to get, for like a budget build, but you'd want to strive to get a good high physical damage sword with high attack speed. With the crit multi, jeweled foil is a good one for that particular cause. When it comes to the rest of the gear, the chest, we're running projectiles. The lightning strike will have a melee and projectile portions, so you would really want that these insane AoE projectiles won't get stuck when they hit an enemy. They will proceed and melt everything that goes past it. So when you see a pack of monsters, these will pierce. So that's why we're using Lionized Vision. Gives us 100 life up to, and then level 15 Pierce. So we in fact have 7 link effectively. Also a bunch of armor, always nice. And yeah, again, we're not dealing physical damage, so we're not getting mana out of that. For the amulet, you can use Choir of the Storm for the 50% increased lightning damage. It's pretty nice. You can also, of course, use a rare amulet with fizz damage to attacks and some life and some crit multi alternatively. personally I just didn't get the chance to get myself one. But for the most part, again, when I'm not killing bosses, I keep it here, but when I'm not killing bosses, it's basically Visco's Collar all the time for the extra quantity and magic find. For the rings, again, life resists extra physical damage. I went with double steel rings that I crafted myself that happened to fit the build. This one I used the essences that increases lightning damage, and I also got some nice, life resist rolls as well as lightning damage to attacks. So turned out to be quite okay, this ring for the build. And this one I crafted, I don't even remember when, but yeah, a bunch of physical damage to attacks, some strength, weapon elemental damage, some resist, some life. For the shield, since we are generally, I mean, I guess you could put a couple of accuracy on items. You can get accuracy on helms, and you can get accuracy on gloves, and rings. But I just kind of like wanted to avoid all that, and I already had like a bunch of gear pieces ready, kind of like for the build. So I went with this shield, the Lycosidé. It's really good. Gives us life. Gives us extra block chance, and of course hits cannot be evaded, which is pretty nice. Armor, pretty low. This is a low tier shield, so you're not really getting too much out of it defensive wise, but it really does the trick when it comes to hits cannot be evaded. You just ignore completely the whole accuracy thing, and when you go here you see chance to hit is 80%. If I remove it, chance to hit will go down to 78%, which is well, significantly lower. So you'll be hitting irregularly, well, inconsistently, and you'll be critting inconsistently, and you'll be leeching inconsistently. So yeah. For the gloves, I went with a Series Acuity just because, honestly, just because. I could have gone with rare gloves, with some spike gloves with physical implicit, and then some attack speed, some fizz damage to attack, some life resists, or some stats that I needed, for example. But I just, it's the end of the league. I got a lot of currency, and I found myself in a spot where I have nothing to do with it, so I decided to give this thing a try. And basically, if you can afford it, you can use it, but it's definitely not necessary. The build will work just fine without it. So basically what these gloves give, they take 45 exalts from you, and in return make life and mana from critical strikes. So when you crit, you leech life and mana instantly. So yeah, you want to make sure you have a decent amount of crit. This is why we're using Assassin's Mark. We have overall about 50% crit chance when fully buffed with this build currently. So and you're attacking like so very quickly as well. Frenzy charges, we're going to get 8 maximum frenzy charge. So with my current setup, so it's a lot of attack speed, it's a lot of hits, it's a lot of crits. We're constantly leeching and staying alive. When it comes to the helmet, you can choose a rare helmet enchant. I first started trying out dying a lot with this beauty, the Abyssus. I figured, hey, I never played with this item before as well, so I went with like Acuities and Abyssus. Abyssus is brutal, just dumb. It will kill you. It will kill you a lot. I mean, it will boost my DPS by 60k. It's a frick ton of DPS, but it's just not worth it. You'll die a lot. The helmet does not have life. It offers a lot of damage, but the 40% increased physical damage taken, at least I find very hard to deal with. I think I would need to build an entirely different character to make it a lot more tankier, in order to, yeah, be able to ignore these 40% increased physical damage taken. So yeah, I went and bought for 15 chaos a helm enchantment, a royal burgonet, With this helm enchantment, you get the increased lightning strike damage, and then you spam couple chaos until you get the life resist that you need, or stats that you need, whatever that you need on the helmet. It's a pretty cheap enchant. Lightning strike is a very underused skill. For the belt, again, you go for what you need. I needed resists life, elemental damage, and I guess implicit as increased physical damage, but you can go for a leather belt, you can go for a heavy belt, whatever belt that you find to give you the life resists that you need over here. For the boots, I went with Calm's Roots with +1 to max friendly charges. These boots are absolutely amazing. Allows you to just basically ignore temporal chains and freezes and all that kind of stuff that's kind of like really annoying. Makes you re-roll maps and spend extra chaos on, you know, maps that you can't run because temporal chains is like so annoying. So these just basically, yeah, at the cost of having no sockets and no resists and no extra movement speed, you're going to be getting a lot of life, and the cannot be slowed and unwavering stance. So there you go. Anything else that I want to say about the gear? I think not. Okay, so since I have the instant leech, and for example you can't afford yourself a 45 exalted or a pair of gloves, of course the alternative would be to instead just spec into Valpact. It's only 2 points away. Okay, so you spec into Valpact, you use a rare pair of gloves instead, and you should be just fine. When it comes to leveling, you can level with Lightning Strike pretty much as soon as level 13, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it's a very fast and nice and easy and smooth leveling process. As you level up, of course, you know, you pick up all sorts of unique weapons, such as, I don't know, I had a couple of unique weapons here for leveling. Of course, Tabula, I used the Red Beak and whatnot. There was Mirage and the Princess and Might Flay. Later down the road we had the Prismatic Eclipse, Skeva, the rest was Passion. All these were used through the leveling. Of course, Tabula, you can use Wake of Destruction as well. Very, very good boots for leveling, because the extra lightning damage to attacks and, you know, movement speed makes you very, very, very strong. And yeah, some rare gear and whatever that I had from leveling Tabula. Of course, always nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You help Alira. She gives you crit multi and extra resistances. That's how the tree looks like. You start off here. You basically just pick up life. You just go for life. And from here, I went here, picked up the life, and then went, picked up some more life. And more life, and then I started kind of like branching out here. I just went to pick up all the life nodes as fast as I could, and then started spec into the damage. Once basically I had all these life nodes completed, only then I went and started specking into, you know, Primeval Force, and then the sword nodes, and later on, when I got the Avatar of the Slaughter, I went into some frenzy charges. I picked up the jewel socket very, very later on. Very, very later, around level 80. Like after I finished the story, basically, is when I first started like picking up these jewel nodes. But yeah, you can pick them up as early as you find necessary. And yeah, this is the build. I'm going to leave a link, of course, for the build, and I can show you how this thing melts things with the double breaches here on the gorge, just having a little bit of fun. Hopefully I won't die. So yeah, you go into the map, you turn on your Blood Rage, and you just basically destroy. Everything gets melted. It's a super fast clearing build, and it's very, very, very satisfying. You get a breach, you lay down the totem, and then yeah, I think there's also monsters from beyond in this bridge as well, and minus resists. Maybe it's a bit rippy map, I don't know. Let's hope I won't rip. It's gonna be sad. But yeah, I mean, the build is very, very, very strong. Once once you get everything going, feels pretty good, man. Also, like, seriously, you don't have to have the acuities. It was just because I could. I used them. And of course this sword that I have as well. I mean, nothing that you like need to have. The more DPS, the more physical DPS your sword is going to have. Of course, you're going to have a faster clearing speed, but you know, nothing is set in stone. You can start off with some nice budget unique swords and work your way up as well. Like, really, what's nice about it, another thing that's nice about it is that really that the skill is very, very underused. Like, nobody ever uses the skill, at least from what I've seen. Nobody plays Lightning Strike, so you know, it has an upside and a downside. The upside being the Helm enchant is going to be super cheap to get, but the downside, of course, if you end up breaking your level 20 when you're trying to vol it, you know, chances are you're going to have to pay a little bit to get a level 21 with 20 quality Lightning Strike, because they're just kind of like non-existing. I think it took me... Oh, hi, hello. That was an angry dude. But yeah, you see the build is like very, very fast. You get your power charges, your frenzy charges. Yeah. Feels good, man. It's actually a very, very fun build. Strongly, strongly recommend. Yeah, I think we're gonna cut the video right now. You guys got the idea. This is my Lightning Strike Ranger, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on stream. Make sure you drop by. Bye bye.